The next step in science is to say that consciousness is fundamental. I'm Donald Hofmann, and I'm a professor emeritus of cognitive sciences at the University of California at Irvine. My work has been teaching students, although now I'm emeritus, so I don't teach. And now I do research. I do research on, right now, on consciousness, mathematical models of consciousness, and how physics and space-time might arise from a theory of consciousness that's completely mathematically precise. My own journey has been both from the spiritual side and from the science side. So my father was a minister, a fundamentalist Christian minister. So I got that, on Sundays, and I got science at school, and they conflicted, right? The stories I was getting were contradictory. And so as a teenager, I realized I needed to figure things out for myself. And I decided the question I wanted to answer was, are we machines? Are people just machines or not? I mean, from the physicalist point of view, we would just be machines. From a spiritual point of view, we wouldn't be machines. It wasn't precise enough to say what we would be. And so I decided to ask the question scientifically, are we just machines? And the best way I thought to do that would be to study artificial intelligence. And so I went to MIT and was in the artificial intelligence lab studying artificial intelligence, and also in what's now the brain and cognitive science department studying the human side of things, because I wanted to do both. I wanted to study what can machines do and what's special, if anything, about humans and human neuroscience. To answer the very question, are the spiritual traditions right? Are we more than just machines? Or is the physicalist scientific point of view right? And we are just machines, and consciousness is just an artifact of brain activity. So the evidence that I'm using to suggest that consciousness is fundamental has many aspects to it. One is that physics itself says that space-time isn't fundamental, and evolutionary theory also agrees that space-time and physical objects are not fundamental reality. Now, both of those theories tell us only that space-time is not fundamental. They don't tell us what is beyond space-time. And so my argument is that what the physicists are finding beyond space-time, they're finding mathematical structures, but what those are about is not really clear. What is this realm beyond space-time about? And so I'm proposing that the realm beyond space-time is about consciousness. It's a theorem of our theory that there is ultimately one consciousness. So we have this dynamics of many, many conscious agents, but the theory tells us that ultimately all those conscious agents are really just projections of a single one consciousness. The current paradigm in science has, and it has been for centuries, is that space and time are the fundamental nature of reality. They're irreducible, and they are the foundation of everything. And prior to Einstein, space and time were viewed as separate. Now space and time together, unified into space-time, are viewed as the fundamental nature of reality. And science has then assumed that space-time and objects in space-time are the foundational reality. And so, for example, when we talk about consciousness itself then must be somehow a product of objects in space and time. In that physicalist framework, space and time and physical objects without any consciousness are the fundamental reality. And consciousness comes later on in the evolution of the universe, right? So that the Big Bang, there was no consciousness, there was just space-time and energy. The energy coalesced into massive particles, and eventually life emerged after who knows how many millions or hundreds of millions or billions of years. Then after that, consciousness came even later. From that point of view, when you die, the physical complexity that gave rise to consciousness dissolves, and so your consciousness dissolves. And so the physicalist framework really does eliminate consciousness as a fundamental thing altogether, and says that when your body dies, your consciousness goes with it. From this other point of view, what I've done with my colleagues is we used evolutionary theory to point out that it's an implication of evolutionary theory that space and time is not fundamental. So the physicalist interpretation of evolution is wrong. The idea that space and time and particles somehow have evolved to human organisms is the wrong framework, because space-time itself is not fundamental. We're positing a dynamics beyond space-time that's much richer, this dynamics of consciousness. What we do not do is throw away our old theories. When physicists say space-time is doomed, that doesn't mean we no longer pay attention to Einstein. Absolutely not. We pay attention to Einstein. Any new theory beyond space-time that the physicists come up with better project into space-time and give us back Einstein, and it better give us back quantum theory, or you're wrong. Right? So all of our old theories are wonderful, wonderful friends, and we're going to keep them as special cases of a deeper theory. So in our theory of consciousness, we have to do the same thing. We can't just propose anything we want. We have to have a theory of consciousness that projects and gives us back space-time. It gives us back quantum theory. It gives us back special and general relativity, and it gives us back evolution by natural selection. If we cannot do that in precise mathematical detail, then there's no reason for scientists to take our theory of consciousness seriously. So the idea of awakening in many spiritual traditions has been the idea that what we have taken as reality, objects in space and time, our physical bodies and so forth, is not the final reality, that there's a much deeper reality, a reality of consciousness that transcends space and time and physical objects, and that we're not divorced from that reality. That reality is, in some sense, the essence of what we are. And so awakening is awakening from the illusion that I'm just a little body in space and time to the fact that I'm, in fact, the author of everything I see inside of space and time. I create it on the fly as I look and perceive. Every time that we've had a mathematically precise advance in science, it has opened up new technologies that look like magic compared to what we had before. So my feeling is that this theory of conscious agents beyond space-time will give us technologies that will be truly mind-boggling. For example, right now, most of the galaxies that we see, I think 97% of the galaxies that we see, we can never go to. They're receding from us faster than the speed of light. So that they're not moving through space faster than the speed of light. Space itself is expanding so quickly that their speed moving away from us is greater than the speed of light. So we could never travel through space to go to 97% of the galaxies that we can see. So there's all this real estate out there that's waving at us and saying, hi, we're out here, and you can never come to us. That's if you go through space-time. But what if you realize that space-time is just your headset? It's just the format of a game, and you're not stuck inside the headset. You can play with the software that's running the game. So it's like someone who's like in Grand Theft Auto. You're a wizard of Grand Theft Auto. So you know how to use the car and drive through roads, and you can beat everybody in the game. But suppose you actually know the software that runs Grand Theft Auto. So you step outside of the Grand Theft Auto headset, and you can play with the software. Well, you can take the gasoline out of the tank of the wizard. You can give him a flat tire. You can change the geometry of the roads. You can do whatever you want to. So once we understand our space-time headset, we won't have to travel to the Andromeda galaxy through space-time, which would take us 2.4 million years. We can just go around space-time.